There's a big issue facing the world today. And the issue is Islamic Jihad. And I believe that Islamic Jihad is giving a challenge to Israel and the church. Islamic Jihad is saying, we hate you both. And we're going to kill you both. And as long as you are separated and you refuse to cooperate, we've got an open door to kill you. And I believe God is using that in a negative way to try to wake us up, to say to our nation Israel, you are not going to survive the onslaught of Islamic Jihad, of Hamas, of Hezbollah, of Boko Haram, of ISIS, of all these different, you're not strong enough, they're going to wipe you out. You better look for a partner in this world. And it's not going to be the United Nations. It's not going to be France. It's not really even going to be probably Korea or America. But it is going to be the Ecclesia, the international church. Amazingly enough, even today, the government of Israel, unsaved politicians in Israel are understanding that our only partner in the world is the evangelical Christians, those Christians who believe in Jesus. And even some of the Catholic world that see themselves partnered to us. Israel is beginning to see, not just the Messianic Jews, but even the unsaved part of our nation is beginning to see that we cannot survive without our partnership with the church. The question is, how much does the church see that in reverse? And here I want to give a warning. We better understand this. You better understand this. We better both understand this together. And let me analyze a few of the things that have happened just in the recent weeks for you. You know, for somebody who might see this film later on, we happen to be filming this right after 18 people were killed in France. 14 at the, where was the first murder? At the magazine, right, from Charles Herbeau, and then another 4 from the Jewish kosher grocery store. Now, after that, they said maybe 2 million people marched in the street. Might have been the single largest political rally in history. Maybe not. Maybe in China there's been bigger ones. But one of the largest, if not. And when I listened to the reports, the translated reports coming out of Europe and out of France, and what did they say? They said, this was an attack upon freedom of speech, and we are all here to defend freedom of speech. And if that's what they are understanding this to be, they are doomed. They are dead. They have lost the war already to Islamic Jihad. It has nothing to do with that. As one reporter here said in Israel, well, if this was an attack upon freedom of speech in France, maybe it's also an attack upon kosher food. That means if we should all be for freedom of speech, maybe we should all eat kosher food then. What kind of logic is that? It's ridiculous. Was the attack on the Twin Towers in New York, was that an attack on free enterprise? Was the murder of Christian high school girls in Nigeria, was that an attack on high school education? Maybe we should all be for high school education and Jewish food and freedom of the press and capitalism. Is that what this is about? No, it isn't. And if that's what people think it is, then they have lost the war already to Islamic Jihad. And the leaders of Islamic Jihad are laughing. They see those 2 million people on the street in Paris saying that they're defending freedom of speech. They're laughing at them, saying, you've already lost the war. You don't even understand what this is about. Are you with me? Now, let's take one step up. It's not just about that. It's about Islamic Jihad. Take one step up. This is about jihad trying to kill Jews, kill Christians, destroy Western society, wipe Israel off the map, and take over the world. Period. I'm not making this up. I'm not exaggerating. You can go to any website on the world, on any one of 100 different jihadist groups, and they will all say the exact same thing. This is where the battle is. In fact, it even says in the Bible, in Zechariah 14, that right before Jesus comes back, all the nations of the world will attack Israel to destroy Israel. Well, who is going to motivate that? What kind of philosophy, what kind of religion, what kind of spiritual motivation and movement internationally wants to have people from all of the nations of the world come and destroy Israel totally? It's already here. We need to wake up to this. Now, here's the challenge. Even for us, there's a tendency to say, this is just about Islamic jihad. But you know what? It's a little more subtle than that. It's not just Islamic jihad. It's Islam. Because the moderate Muslims, in the one hand, they are the first victims of Islamic jihad. When the jihad comes to any area, the first people they kill is not Jews, not Christians, not humanists. It's moderate Muslims, because they want to take over. But what happens in a result is that the moderate Muslims go first into a nation, and they pave the way. They are pawns. They are the foot soldiers of Islamic jihad, and they don't realize it. They are puppets of Islamic jihad. They are going into the nations and paving the way, opening up the door for Islam to come in. And when Islam comes in, then Islamic jihad always comes and rides on top of it. So they are the pawns for it. Moderate Muslims, we're not against moderate Muslims, but they do not realize to what degree they are being pawns and puppets of the jihadist movement to open up the world for a jihadist takeover. Now, the moderate Muslims don't realize how they are being used by the Islamic extremists. But the Islamic extremists understand 100% how they are using the moderate Muslims to pave the way for them to be able to come in. Now, that sounds nice, maybe, but I'm not talking about something political here. It sounds like a right-wing political statement that I'm making. That's not what I'm saying. Now, here's the real challenge. I want us to get into it a little deeper here. One last thing, and then we'll pray. A week ago, I heard an interview with one of the leaders of world jihad, the leader of jihad, I think it was in England. It was interviewed by one of the Israeli press. And here's what he said. Now listen carefully. I'm still trying to digest this. He said, the battle here is not between Islam and the rest of the world. The battle here is between the true religion of the law of God versus atheist secular humanism. He said there are only two groups in the world. Those who believe in the law of God and those who are unbelievers. And we have, by the law of God, not to come and destroy the unbelievers, to be able to set up the law of God, the kingdom of God, which of course he calls a caliphate, and the caliphate, to bring that. But here's what he said. He said, part of Islam is first Moses, and then Jesus, and then Muhammad. In other words, he says that Islam includes faith in Jesus and faith in Moses. Now, let me be straight with you. He's lying. That's not true, but that's what they're saying. That's what they believe. And you and I better wake up to this. They are saying that Moses was a Muslim. that Jesus was a Muslim and that Muhammad is the ultimate Muslim, the ultimate prophet over Jesus and over Moses, who has come to bring the ultimate religion of God into the world. And therefore, you were either on Muhammad's side or you are an atheist kafir. You are an atheist heretic. And you know what? The Christian world is saying nothing about it, and the Jewish world is saying nothing about it. You know what we're talking about? We're talking about terrorism, which is correct, but it's not going to the root of this. This is really not even about terror. It's about true faith. Now, why can we not deal with it? Because as long as Christianity is saying there's no place for Israel, for the Jews, that we've rejected the law of Moses, we've rejected the prophets of Israel, that's done away with, that's a wrong religion, and now we have a new religion, they have got nothing to say to Islam. Because Islam is saying, yes, that's true, and now we've bought the next stage. Now you're wrong and we're right. We have superseded you. Now, as long as there's a separation here, all we can talk about is terror, murder, on the basis of universal moral values. But that's not the problem here. That's a secondary problem. The problem before that is a spiritual lie. It is a faith issue. Because if Muhammad really is the ultimate prophet, then we ought to believe in him. If Jesus was a Muslim, then Christians should become Muslims. If Moses was a Muslim, then Jews should become Muslims. But we have to say it's wrong. But we can't say it's even wrong if we disagree with one another. If we can't agree on this book, how can we say this book is right and the Quran is wrong? You see, how can we say we have to turn to the world and say the Quran is wrong, the Bible is right? Muhammad is a false prophet, not the final prophet. But how can we do that when Israel and the church are in disagreement? We've opened the door for this to come in, and we have no argument against it. We can only present an argument against this when we say there is a consistent faith from Abraham to Moses, to David, to the prophets of Israel, to Jesus and his disciples, to the international church, that there is a continuous faith from Israel to the nations, that we are partners together. If we are partners together, then we can say that is wrong. If we are not partners together, we have no ability to say that it's wrong. And we've got to be able to deal with this. The church has to be able to see its Jewish roots, and the Jews have to see their partnership with the Christian world. Even to the point, I would say, not even total faith. I'm not even talking about Jews coming, all of them, to faith in Jesus, and the church understanding everything about Israel, but at least a basic partnership that this is one and the same faith. Will the Christian world say that we believe in the God of Israel? Do we believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Will they say that? And will they say that if you believe in the God of Abraham and Ishmael, it's not the same God? If the church can't say that, it can stand against terror, but it cannot stand against the lie of the gospel of Islam. We need to be able to deal with this. Until we can show that we are unified on the faith of scriptures, then there is no way to stand and show that the Quran is incorrect and Muhammad is a false prophet. That's the root issue. Is there partnership between Israel and the church? Is this the real scriptures, or is the Quran the real scriptures? Is Jesus the King of the Jews, the ultimate prophet, or is it Muhammad? Does the Messiah, the King of the world, in origin have to be of Jewish descent? Well, in the church, if that's become irrelevant, then why can't he be an Arab? Why can't he be Muhammad? You see, it's only when the church returns to this, their roots, and only when Israel realizes our partnership with the church, do we have anything to say to the lies of Islam. Now, one last thing about that. As I said, there's a lie in Islam because it's a different Bible. And it's not saying this is the God of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's changing. Now, there's something else in this. In the law of Moses, there are many different levels of laws. Of all those laws, the highest level of law is the 10 Commandments. And even among the 10 Commandments, there's an order of which is more important. And Jesus gave the order. The first law is thou shalt not murder. The second law is thou shalt not commit adultery. The third one is thou shalt not steal. The fourth one is thou shalt not lie. And we have to get this straight. Because when Israel and the church, Judaism and Christianity come into a basic agreement on values, what we call Judeo-Christian values, then we have something to say to the world. We have something to say to the humanist world. Now, I realize what I'm going to say is a terrible oversimplification, but try to understand the truth of it. If you look to Western humanism, entertainment, tikshoret, media, there is a dominant sin in the whole world, and it is sexual immorality. It is thou shalt not commit adultery. That's the problem in all of its different forms. And when you look to the world of Islam, what's the problem here? They are murdering people. And we have to be able to say, you are not believers in the God of Israel, because the God of Israel says, number one law above all, thou shalt not murder. And you are going around murdering innocent people. You are liars. This is a false prophet and a false religion, and is not a continuation of the God of Israel. But then on the other side, we also have to say, it's also against the law to commit adultery. So the Judeo-Christian values stand in the middle of murderous Islamic jihad on one side and adulterous humanism on the other side. And we have to be able to fight both. But we have to come to these basic values and realize our partnership in the world. And why does the church need this? Just one more minute here. When you see who is even standing up in the United Nations and saying that the problem in the world today is Islamic jihad. Not the lies with Islam, but at least Islamic jihad, it's only Israel. And the church worldwide has to see that and say, we're standing with them. Sweethearts, it's not Korea saying that. It's not America saying it. It's only Israel standing up and saying Islamic jihad is our first fight here. Church needs to see its partnership with Israel. But Israel has to see just the opposite. We don't have a chance to exist here without our partnership. So that we can fight murder on the one side and adultery on the other side and stand on the values of the Bible and defeat these enemies in the end times.